Is this thing? Oh yes. Okay. Sorry. So hi everybody. Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about timing. So timing of food and when to eat, when not to eat. Now I've watched a whole bunch of videos with doctors, real doctors that are experts on PCOS. I've talked to my own fertility specialist, Dr. Stephanie Fisher in Vancouver. And I've talked to, over in BC, we have a dietitian. And I've also talked to a naturopath who is a specialist in he's an endocrine specialist. So he's like a hormone guy. And he is phenomenal. His name is Bobby Parmar. Sorry, Bobby, I'm plugging you. And he's at Evolve. He's in Vancouver. And he, I think out of all things, my naturopath and my trainer who helps me exercise, have really impacted how I look at PCOS and how I eat and whatnot. So natural medicines are the way for me. Bush medicine, how we call it, is it. And I think he's your man. I really do. But anyway, moving on. So, understanding PCOS has been really difficult for me. So first I'll talk about that. So if you think of your blood cells having little tiny doors that let in glucose, right? Now to have a door open, you need a key to unlock that door. The key to unlocking the door is insulin. So when you eat, the pancreas releases insulin. The insulin out, now we're going to call those keys, insulin keys. They just swim through and then they meet the cell. So this is a cell. They swim through and you know what? The door it doesn't recognize that key. So the key can't go in to let in the glucose. The glucose needs to go in to the cell to be produced, to be processed, and either be stored as fat or stored as energy. And when it stays outside, when the glucose stays outside the cell, it gets stored as fat because it can't go inside the cell. Insulin can't unlock the door. The cell's like, I don't know who you are. I don't get you. And that's, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work. Those doors don't open with those keys. And what can open those doors with those keys is exercise, eating right, and eating on time, so that you can get that insulin to go in, open up that door, and then let in the glucose, right? So recapping, insulin is a key. Your blood cells have doors, and those doors let in glucose. Insulin is released from the pancreas after eating, and the key wants to go into the door, but the door says, I don't recognize you. I'm not going to open up. So glucose just swims around and then gets stored as fat. What we want glucose to do is to go into the cell and be stored and be burned off as energy, immediate energy. So eating right, exercising, and eating on time will allow that key to open up the door, and then glucose can go in and burn off as immediate energy. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we get that key to fit in that door? Well, we can't go and remake the key. Right? Insulin is insulin, and that door is that door. We are not genetically advanced enough to just go in and change that, right? So what you do is you get the key to work. Your body is so powerful and your mind is so powerful. I tell you, there are things that we can do that are phenomenal. And there is hope. So what all these experts have told me, and what I've read and what I've seen, is that what you eat is essential. So we want to be eating foods that break down really slowly, so in the body. So if you think of a cracker, You put that in your mouth and you can suck on that, and you have enzymes in your mouth that begin the digestion process and turns that stuff into sugar. So that is quick digestion. If you think of rice, white rice, put that in your mouth, you can suck on it. It might take a little bit longer, but that is quick. It's quicker digest. It's not slow, but it's like on the range of things. It is pretty quick, and it's actually not that good for you if you've got PCOS. I mean, because it turns into sugar right away. It's a high index food. Like, you look up index foods like Wikipedia. You can go onto medical sites. You can go on a Mayo Clinic website. You can, like, there is evidence. There is empirical evidence showing that these foods spike insulin, and when your insulin is spiked, glucose just doesn't get processed. You want to stay away from those kind of foods. So something that is, so potatoes, right? Potatoes, white breads, white rice, any kind of rice actually, crackers, like candy, soda, anything that has immediate sugars, like hydrogenated corn syrup, pancakes, like English muffins, bagels. Oh my gosh, stay away from bagels. White starchy foods, not so good. Better starches, quinoa. Quinoa is so delicious, and you know what, if you put a little bit of unsalted chicken broth or vegetable broth in that, fantastic. You can almost eat it on its own. Not as good as sweet potatoes. Sweet potato is very slow digesting. I don't know why, but it digests really slow. Uncooked oats, or even cooked oats, but uncooked oats in a protein shake, very good for you. For some reason or another, brown pasta, whole wheat pasta, is really slow digesting. That rated really low on the good, very high on the index of good to eat for people that are watching their insulin, and very low on insulin. I don't know why. So just read up on it, because it's so key, right? I really can't get it home enough how much we should be staying away from certain starches. It's so bad for us because it just gets stored as fat. Think about it. Fat is not the enemy. Sugar is the enemy. Anything that turns into sugar, that's the enemy, okay? If you want to think of it in those terms. I think of it in terms as what's going to have my keys open up those doors, right? What's going to have my keys be seen to open up those doors. And the other thing I think of too is, a lot of the times with PCOS, it's like we start hiding behind our fat. Like, it's just like, oh, I feel fat and I don't want to be seen anymore. So I think mentally how we do things too, how I've been doing it is, you know what? Before this PCOS business, I used to love being the center of attention. I used to love it when people just gushed over me, or just paid attention to me, listened to my jokes, listened to what I was saying. And the more weight I gained, the more I wanted to not be seen. So that on a subconscious level is also activating, I believe, I don't know what your beliefs are, how our cells are reacting. So if I think to myself, look at, you know what, I want to be seen. I want to be known. I meditate on that. I meditate on, I am a powerful presence in this universe, and I deserve to be. So that's a big part of it too, right? That's overcoming a lot of that stuff from my past that I was talking about too. So timing. The timing of our food. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, the best time to eat is right away. Like, just eat, like, roll out of bed, have a big glass of water, and eat your food. Eat something healthy. Prepare that stuff the night before if you have to. If you're serious about it, you got to do it. And then you want to eat every 3 to 5 hours after that. So the one thing that you do not want to do is eat right before bed, because one, you want to feel hungry when you wake up, so that when you have breakfast you're ready to eat. The other thing too is that it's just bad for your metabolism to eat right before bed if you have PCOS. It's just the way that it is. Accept it. Accept it. Accept it. Accept it. If you had to amputate your leg, you'd have to accept that, wouldn't you? If you had cancer, you'd have to accept that I have cancer and I'm going to fix it. And these are the things that I'm going to do to fix it. If you had a broken arm, you'd have to accept I have a broken arm. I have to put it in a cast. I can't use it. So accept that you have PCOS and accept that I've got to change my lifestyle if I want to not be fat. If you're fat, it's just the way that it is. The Japanese language is just the way that it is. You can't change it. It's just the way that it is. PCOS is the way that it is, and you have to change the way that you are to get to the better you. So the other part of it is exercise. Exercise is so essential to getting the key. Exercising, meditation, eating right, and eating on time. Cannot stress it enough, right? See, am I missing anything? I don't think I am. So if you have any questions about it, please feel free to post, feel free to ask. And I'll do my best to get those answers for you. I do not have all the answers, but I am sure I will try my best to find them. And the other thing is I talk to experts, like real experts about this stuff, and people experts that you trust. I do think that there are doctors that don't know a lot about it, and they just ramble off, and I do think that there are. And I check with your naturopath too, and make sure if your naturopath is an endocrine specialist, because they want to cure this stuff, right? Yeah, so I hope you have a great day. I hope this was helpful and interesting to you, and I'll see you soon.